Okay. So I've got my second most ridiculous shirt on. This beautiful camo. And yeah, I was walking upstairs and noticed there was a painting on the wall. It was this one. And I realized I also forgot to do foliage, or I didn't put foliage on it. I can't remember. I think this is the second one in the series. So my plan is now to add foliage, and it will look like all the other paintings. I'll show you. So this is the one I updated yesterday. I don't know if you can see that. So I'm going to transform it into something like this. All right. So for this one, you don't need to look at me. I already know it looks better when it's zoomed in, so I'm gonna get in nice and close. See how close I can get without bumping into the camera. And I'll be working mostly on the top. So give me a second while I adjust things a bit. We'll look at maybe just right about there. Will that work? Okay. One more sip of coffee. Coffee in hand, ready to... I got my coffee going too. Okay, so beforehand I already prepared my palette, and unfortunately I've run out of this beautiful orange here. I actually don't even know what the hell it's called because the container is so covered in paint. I have no idea what color it is. I want to get more of it, so I'll probably bring this to the art store and say, hey, let me match this. Anyhow, so I'm gonna have to make my own oranges. So what I've done is you need whites because these colors are all too intense. They're too strong. They need to be I guess you could say desaturated. So this is the orange I've been using along with this one, those two, and I've got a third orange which I also use, and then some reds which I'm going to mix with the yellows and white once that thing runs out. Okay, this looks like I've got 3 brushes that are ready to go. These are the 3 brushes I used yesterday, so let me see if I can see it. This thin one, and then these 2. And I think I'm going to start with this one. Okay. All right, here we are. Oh yeah, I've got this iPad over here where I don't have to look over at that computer. An iPad right here. Let me just load up the page. There we go. Okay. Click it. So we got Elite. Hi, Alita. Good morning, Susie. I feel like I'm on a game show or something. Okay, so yeah, what should I do? So my plan is I gotta make it look like there's foliage in front. So I'm just gonna do what I did the last couple paintings. I just sort of put down little splotches of color, little brush strokes. I'm doing it. First thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do of this nice orange. See how far I can take it, and I'm just gonna put little guys right in front of the branches because they should have leaves. In a little bit, I'm a little sad because I do like this painting the way it is. It is kind of nice. It has lots of emotion to it. It looks angry. I mean, I wasn't even the slightest bit angry when I did it. It just sort of has, because of the fire, it looks very intense. And I think it's still going to be intense. It's just not going to be as violent, let's call it. Okay, so I'm going around and I'm just putting little brush strokes of color. Let me just turn this over here a bit so you can see the little thing. There we go. Because I'm working on over here. All right, so now I'm going to switch to this. See that? Maybe I'll switch to this color. All right. So good. It's so quiet, except for the insane ringing in the ear. It's so quiet. I can hear the clock ticking on the other side of the room. Hope my face isn't in the way. Oh, I could just look over here. Why is it? It's frozen. What the hell? Oh no. Okay. So if you ever hear kind of a weird wobbly noise, that I've got a microphone. That's a pretty good microphone I borrowed from a friend, and it picks up everything. And the other day, someone's saying, "What's that fishbowl sound?" And I'm pretty sure it was me just tapping on the, going a little hard on the canvas here, because these are really well-made canvases. I'd recommend them. I used to build and stretch my own canvases, but it's a pain in the ass, and you really need a workshop to do it properly, especially because most of my paintings are large. Like you need the space, and you need to you need the space. I have all the tools. I even still have my stretchers for it, which are like clamps, basically. I mean, the clamps that hold down the canvas, because it's sort of like an art form to the way you stretch. I got pretty good at it. You start here, and then 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 here, and here, and then here. What I mean is you pull it and you staple it. And I had all these little techniques for big canvases too. Like what you do is you get, I'm sure this is very common knowledge, but you get quarter round, which is a piece of wood that's cut at a 90-degree angle with a curve on the side. And then you get larger pieces of wood. So the quarter round starts here and starts bending up. So only the edge touches the canvas. Like when you push in, it's already started to curve under. So that's very important. Otherwise you'll get this flat line of where it touches. So you gotta build the outer frame first, then you get the quarter round, and you, depending on how strong you want it, you either glue it in or glue and nail it, which is what I used to do. Glue it first to get position. Oh no, put one thin nail in on each side to get the position. Then you pull it back off. You sew the spikes. You glue it. You nail back in. Yeah. I don't know what the hell is making sense. Okay, this iPad is not working over here, because I see on my computer people are saying stuff, but close to me, here, I'll show you what I mean. I've got this iPad right here, and it's frozen. So the only way I can read the comments is if I go over to my computer over here. So I'll just have a quick peek at what people are saying, because I can't tell. It says, how long do you have them dry before you start back painting on them? Oh, well, it really really doesn't matter, because I'll just go with however dry they are. Like if something like this is already dry. It's mostly dry, except for some of the thick parts. I would say it takes about 2 months to properly dry a painting, depending on how thick it is, for my typical thickness. But sometimes I prefer them not to dry, so that I can, like, if you check out this thing here, there's a nice, let me just there's a nice yellow globule right here, this thing, and it's fairly dry. If I push it with the brush, you can see it's like beginning to become solid. I might actually want to use that paint sometimes. Sometimes I actually want the color, so it really depends. Come on. There we go. Wow, that was a lot of work for just zooming in that one little thing. Okay, yeah, so like just down here, I might want that color. So I would say I need to keep painting. I would say with these specific paints, about 2 to 3 days, the paint will be still wet enough for me to really reuse it. After that, it starts developing a bit of a coating. I mean, right now, I would have preferred if it wasn't as dry as it is. Because what happens is when there's thick paint, I've got to paint over like this thick, that big blob, that spiky bit, and it's, you know, you can't really do it. I have no idea if I answered your question. Oh, this is where I kind of like stuff. The contrast of the okay, so this will be like a green and this kind of orange color. I actually have 2 colors on my brush. Because I suppose I don't know where the hell the leaves start. Those are good. They're just floating there. What the? I kind of screwed those ones up. I could always fix it up later. Okay. I think the important thing. Hey, Murray. Okay. Well, here's an example. Okay. So this is paint from yesterday. See, there's a bit of purple in there. Already, it's kind of like, it's a little thick. And then this is the straight white. It's definitely more viscous. So even one day, I can tell the difference. There's this very, very slight difference. It's pretty imperceptible at this point, but I can just feel it on the brush, right? Okay, so what I'm doing right now is I'm trying to make some new orange, and obviously I added white and red, so it's pink. So I'm gonna come down and try some of this. I'm gonna add some water. Now that's definitely not the color I want. It's way too pink. So I'll try some of this yellow. It's definitely okay. That's warming up. Do you see that? It's like chemical reaction. So I'll get some more of that. Let's add more yellow. Okay, that's becoming a nice color. I think I want to. It's like a, I don't know, it's something like a pasty yellow. I mean a pasty peach. Add some more yellow. Now I need a bunch of this paint, so that's why I'm not going to waste any of this. All right. So just for the hell of it, it's not the right color. It's definitely brighter than everything else, and it has a peach kind of color to it. But sometimes just go with it and see what happens. Oh, wait, it's not. Don't like it. So I'm gonna take some of this red. Excuse me. That'll definitely Oh, it's turning into that kind of like. It actually looks like it would taste good. That's kind of delicious color. I think we're getting lots of frame rate problems here. 11%. Okay. Does anyone find that the video is? Don't forget your sound effects. Yeah. Okay, here's a slurping sound effect. Let me know if there's problems with the video, like if it gets too choppy or whatever. Okay. Let's see what we're gonna do. Let's just keep going. How about I shut the hell up? Yeah, that's a good idea. Oh, here's a perfect example. There's a giant chunk. I think you could probably see it. This big, thick, yellow thing here. And I couldn't paint on it, over it, because, here, let's move it over there. Because it's so thick. Bloop. I don't know how this is progressing. Okay, maybe it is time to step back and have a look at the overall composition. So I'm just going to put this back here. I'm going to stand back a little bit. It looks like this one's at an angle. Oh, it's good enough. Okay, I'm going to go stand back a bit. Way over here, I'm probably about 25 feet away. Okay. Sorry, just trying to adjust this camera. Okay. All right, so yeah, it's probably where it should be. Let's try this color. This is sort of like this almost beige. Let's just do this, see what happens when it comes in there. And I still, I'm gonna do what I did with the other paintings at the bottom. I'm gonna make it so there's like more light feeling coming across. And I'm gonna definitely add the sky poking through. And also the trees are still rough compared to how I've done the other ones. Kind of in a weird mood. It's like I've got kind of a weird headache. It's like I'm dehydrated, but I'm not. I'm trying very hard to be positive. Oh, I think it's because the ringing is starting to increase. That's what it is. Fuck. I like how these lines are kind of going down, and then there's more of these little staccato little. It's my visual metaphor. Little dots of color, staccato. That makes sense, doesn't it? Makes sense in my mind. Okay. So I need some more orange. I really do. I think the problem was I added too much white. Okay, here we go. This is really thick. I need a touch of water. Okay. This will be a much more, oh, interesting. Doesn't want to come off. I think maybe I'll switch brushes. Yeah, that's what I'll do. So I'll get rid of all the paint on here. And I'm going to switch brushes because this one's maybe a bit big for this canvas. It's a small canvas. And oops. I'll try this one just for fun. I don't know why. It's one of my custom made pointy ones where I just sort of chipped away at it. Okay. It's too similar. Maybe I'll add more red to it. Yeah. Much more red. And let's go in here and let's just do something with these. Wow, that's really thick. It's like completely peeling off, but that would be kind of fun to have completely different patterns of colors coming in here. I think I've mentioned this before, but one of my favorite places to look at paintings is if you go to the AGO, which is Art Gallery of Ontario, and you go to the Group of 7 section. Now, it's kind of sad. The more I think about it, I haven't been there in years. And actually kind of made plans with someone to go, but I haven't done it yet. But if they haven't changed the layout too much, when you walk in, there are these sort of like cases with drawers, and you can open the drawers, and some of the best paintings, like some just amazing Group of 7 stuff, are in these drawers, and I'm pretty sure they keep them in there to protect them from the light. But man, yeah, it's like they're just, so I've gotten lots of inspiration, and I'm talking since I was a kid, since I was like my teens. I used to totally be into going there. Been there by myself many times, been many times with different friends. I always usually have to make a trip to the Moore sculpture room, and just because it's a funny, ridiculous place. Like the Moore sculptures, they're pretty silly, right? But it's almost like a kid's playground, and it's so quiet. It's like a weird tomb, you know. There are these funky block-like sculptures, and in this big empty room, and it's so quiet, and it's just kind of makes where I think art sometimes is just people take it too seriously. It's a little silly. Like if you go outside the art gallery, there's I think it's called the Archer. It's that metal cast large sculpture that used to be on the corner of, what is that, Dundas and, is it the Grange, I think? And as every kid, you try to climb through the hole, and it's very slippery, and there's a slope to it, and you always try to find a place that you could just hang out, but it's just at a weird, like, I wonder if other kids, or I mean adults now, have tried this, but try to sit inside the Archer. You try to climb through it, because it just feels like a jungle gym, like you should be doing it. I wonder if it is called the Archer. Someone should look that up. So what I really should be doing, I really should be creating the like full foliage sort of clumps. Damn, I gotta mix paints again. I don't have the colors I want. So my last, squeeze. The last thing I can do is sort of just scoop out whatever is right here at the, it's like a thing of toothpaste. The last little bits of it. There we go. And here's what happens when they get really worn through, is you get little punctures through the metal, and you get the last little bits of paint. So I'll try to use these precious little drops very carefully. Each one has a special place to live. I think I'm going insane. The shit I'm saying is so ridiculous. Oh man. I was on Facebook Facebook, and one of my art teachers in high school, because I've been the CEO of a couple of game companies. I've started a couple game companies. I haven't seen the guy. I don't know. I mean, how old is he? Since 1989, probably. He writes CEO. Are you kidding me? Because I think he really liked me, but also didn't like me. Because I was a very cocky in our class, very cocky. Like I felt immune, and he's a very smart guy, but one of those teachers where you could still tease them. Back in the day, the teachers used to throw chalk at us. I had a French teacher in probably grade 7. I forget his name. He used to throw chalk at us. Fuck, it was big as hell. Forget his name. He had kind of red hair. And by all means, we deserved it. There's no question. It's not like they were insane or anything. We were just obnoxious teenagers, you know? We didn't mean any harm. We were just trying to, I guess, entertain ourselves, mainly. I've got some really good stories. Oh my God, who was it with me? It was biology class, and we were dissecting frogs. It's a really gross story. It was at an all-guys school, so it was a private boys' school. So you can imagine the stuff that goes down there. And I think this was at the prep. Yeah, this is like grade 7, I think. God, what was that professor's name? He was a totally cool guy. I'll tell you 2 quick stories. One was... Oh, man, I was funny. This is a true story. Both are true stories. The first one is for that science class with the same teacher. God, I can't remember his name. And I think it was like grade 6 or 7. No, it was definitely grade 7 or 8. And, you had to do a science project. And I made it a distillery. I tried to make scotch. And it turned out so horribly bad that I mixed it with like real good scotch that my parents had in their closet, and it came time for like him to check it out. He tasted it. He's like, oh my God, this is amazing. I can't remember if I told him or not, but eventually it came out that I didn't really actually make good scotch. I made like some horrible poison probably. And the other gross story is we were dissecting frogs. And who was it? The classroom was shaped with the desks okay, here's the bottom is where it's from a top down. This is where the teacher's desk was all across here, and he was here, and then all above it was a table that went all the way across like a U shape, right? So students were all around. Okay, I had a friend who was on the other side, and everyone had a frog in front of them with this, taking the guts out and stuff. And every time the teacher looked away, we would throw bits of a frog at the other guy across the way. So there was like splatters of frog guts everywhere. Oh my God, that was so funny. Oh, okay, I got one more story from high school. This is funny. This is a good one. And I'm proud to say I was part of instigating it. It was in French class, and this is in probably like maybe grade 11 or 10 or 11. And I think the French teacher was Mr. Fleming. But what we did was, and this is so funny as hell, everyone in the class moved their desks and chairs like half an inch or an inch, like every couple minutes. Like we just very quietly moving forward until near the end of the class, everyone was all bunched up at the front of the class. And I think it was Mr. Fleming looking at her like, how the fuck did this happen? Like everyone, oh man, that was funny. I don't know how we pulled that one off. Okay, I'll tell you one more story. So, I was sort of destined to win the art prize in the upper school. Like it was pretty much well known that I was going to win the art prize. I was kind of like the art person of the whole school, right? And my one of my best friends at the time, Al Younger, and there was I can't remember. We had this big group project that was worth a lot of the grades. Now I have to go back and verify how accurate this is. Like with, I don't know if I can still see the transcripts, but the end result was we made a video called "What Is Art," and we did it like the night before, and I'm pretty sure we got drunk too, and it was the most horrible piece of crap you can imagine. And that teacher I was telling you about us gave us the perfect mark. He basically, I think, well, at least with me, he gave me like the lowest mark he can give me that would still pass me, and because of that, there was no art award that year because we were such idiots. And I'd love to see. So Al, if you're listening, I don't know if you have that video, "What Is Art," that we did. I'd love to see it again. And now I've always been camera shy. I don't like being the center of attention. So I don't think I'm on the video. I was more like taking the video. But I mean, if I was in the video, it'd be pretty damn quick because I really hated being on camera. But it'd still be fun to see what we were thinking. But it's an interesting question, like, what is art? And I'll tell you something. When I went to art school for 1 year at Mount Allison University. And the only thing I learned was some technical stuff. Like I learned about printmaking and I learned how to pour bronze, which was super cool. Everything else was just a waste of time. But, oh shit, what was I going to say? Something funny. What was I just talking about? I forget. Damn it, it was a good story. What is art? Oh yeah, I remember. So I had, and I also learned about, it was valuable to me for the art history. I learned a lot about the art history, which is good. And one of the things the art history teacher was saying, what is art? And he came up with a definition. First of all, he prefaced it with saying, there is no definition of art, right? Art is totally subjective. So, but he said, art is that which is artificial. And, it's kind of like a deductive, looking for the lowest common denominator. And, it is true, art is that is what is artificial. But it really underlines the fact that everything, all the stuff I'm doing here, who's to say it has value or what it is, if it is art or not. I like to think that I've put in thousands and thousands of hours that have made me master certain things, not everything, but certain things, and this is like my thing, my special ability. But who's to say? Art is that is what is artificial. Isn't that weird? I remember it so distinctively. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to try, you can see this, I'm drawing my brush right across and I'm bringing some of the paint so that it's just not all perfect little dots, because I have a love-hate relationship with little dots. I've done them, like I learned about Seurat when I was very, very young, and I tried, I experimented. Very young, I mean, as a painter, I'd say when I was about, I was totally into dots when I was about 11 to 15. I did drawings and paintings and using little dots, and it was because I discovered Seurat, and I think also because my mom made me aware of Alex Colville, who's a Canadian painter, does little dots and stuff, and I thought it was just cool to try, really, more than anything else. So if you go to my website, you can click on gallery, then view by year, and then you can go down like all the way to the age of 5. But go to like when I was 13, I think, and I was painting my left hand a lot with dots. Okay, I think I'm doing too much talking here. All right, what do I need to do? I need to create some more orange. I'm going to use this. Okay. Mind the camera? Maybe I'll bring this in closer here. I wonder how many of those memories are accurate and how much is just like your mind recreating details. Now I'm just sort of pressing down. I'm sort of like just tapping the painting and letting the brush make some marks. Just for the hell of it. Why not, right? It's less perfect. Let's see. So I have to move the camera back. It's just in my way. I can't, it's got a tripod down here, so my feet are getting all stuck. I like doing this, coming with just larger strokes just to add some variation to the whole thing. And look at that nice big blob of paint right there. Well, I'm gonna have to make a trip to the art store because I need more whites, and I really am loving that orange color. And I've got a couple new canvases ready to go, and I don't know what I'm gonna do next. I still have a couple paintings to finish. I've been putting off the Asylum Seeker one, I think I might call it that. I also have to finish the Baptism one, which is the one with Terry Crews. I also have to finish the one with the woman with the burqa in Algonquin Park. Still have those guys to do. But yeah, I might want to just try something different. They're all different. What the hell am I saying? I don't know. It's just kind of exciting to have all these big white canvases sitting over there, just waiting for something to happen to them. I do kind of get, I definitely can feel like the neurochemistry of my brain change. I don't mean that in a literal sense. I mean that I feel the hormones and I feel my emotions change, and I get like a surge of what is most likely dopamine, right? I get like a pleasure feeling. Like I get a little bit high is the best way to describe it. Like right now, I can feel something coursing through my, well, it's not your veins, it's actually in your brain, right? Like very a drug-like experience. Like I feel a big sense of calmness and a little bit a little giddy. So I mean, I don't drink or do drugs, or and I have no problem with people doing that, but I get my own natural kind of high. It's like, I used to run a lot when I could run, and that high you get after running for like an hour, when you get after your second wind, you sort of get a little bit, something happens, right? You get that surge of chemistry going through your body, and I'm almost like out of breath right now. It's almost just like a lot to feel. Okay, so I'm gonna go and I'm gonna start now. I'm gonna add bits of sky poking through. So I'm looking for a clean brush. Here's a good brush. And all I need is a nice blue, and I have some white ready, so I'll try this blue. We'll see how it turns out. I only need a tiny, tiny drop of this blue to change all that white. Look at that. Barely even touched the brush. Already it made it very blue. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to come through here, and I'm just going to imagine what it would be like for light to be poking through where the leaves are becoming less prevalent. So I'm trying to paint negative space, right? I'm painting the space where the leaves don't exist. And I imagine, this is what I've done before, where it's more blue and goes up to white. And now, because of starting so high, so near the top, I may not even need to do much of a transition. I will make those more white. Here, let me make some more blue. Let me add a tiny bit more blue down here. Okay. And I started doing this probably with there's a meadow series where I was just poking around and thought, hey, it might be kind of cool to make it look like light was coming through, and I just was doing this. It's very satisfying. It's just like I'm often, when I paint, I just watch it happen. It's so cool because it's almost like an out of body experience. A lot of time I'm painting, I can let myself go so that I forget about me and my ego's gone, and all it is this thing. It's like I'm watching a show, and it's like an entertaining show, and it's like I don't feel like it's often my hand. And it's so weird to try to describe it. Like sometimes I could just sit here and it's like I'm sitting across the room with my hands on my stomach, just like, in a relaxed Homer Simpson position, and I'm watching somebody else do this stuff. That's I sometimes feel guilty because I feel like it's like I'm not doing anything. Maybe I'm tapping into the universe. But this is something I've been able to do ever since I was very, very small. In fact, I can tell you the moment I knew I had something, and it was more like the ability to observe stuff. I would say I was very young. Like maybe I was like, I want to say like 7. I'm going to guess. But we used to, my family, so I have my parents and a brother and 2 sisters. And we used to drive up to the cottage, and they had a station wagon. And to pass the time, because it was about a 3-hour drive, we would play the I Spy with My Little Eye game, and someone would say, I spy a yellow sign or something, and everyone had to look and find it first. And I had what I found that if I have to sort of show you, I would just sort of blur my eyes a little bit, and I was able to like open up my perception is the only way to describe it, with all my senses to everything around me. And I was able to win this game because for some reason I was able to take that information in faster, I guess. And I was, you know, my brother's 7 years older, and so, and I know it wasn't them to let me win because I knew I could. It was like one game I could be competitive with against adults, and so there's something about an ability to open up my perceptions that's my real talent, is the ability to sort of take in something greater than myself, and that's sort of what happens. I'm literally just putting myself in a relaxed state so that my subconscious takes over. I don't really believe in the, you know, the supernatural. I like to be entertained by the idea. I, you know, just think, you know, most of the experiences are just happening in your brain, but I'm open to the possibilities that it's something greater than, if you know what I mean. Okay, I think it's time to step back. Let's see how this thing looks. Okay. Put the camera in the middle. I'm not sure if I'm satisfied yet. And walk back. Yeah, something's bugging me. I think. What is bugging me? Something is missing. I'm gonna get a. Oh, okay. I don't know if I feel good or bad right now. My ear is ringing really loudly, and kind of throws me off balance. Sometimes when the stupid ring gets so loud, it's hard for me to concentrate. It's very frustrating. Yeah, like right now, oh my god, like what the hell? That's what I did with the other painting. Let me just look at that for a second. Okay. Yeah, the problem with this one is, I'm just going to do this. Let's just try something. Here, I'll move the camera over. Okay, oh. Try doing word searches. Just stare at the page and bam, you'll be able to find all the words it's searching. It's a good exercise. Oh, I think, oh, you're probably talking about something. Yeah, there's a big delay. There's, I think, about a 10-second delay. So when you type something, it's like way, I've already, you know, it's not real time. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay, this is going to be beautiful. Watch this. No, it's not. This will be beautiful. Yeah, that's a kind of a, look at that color. Now, I gotta be careful because I've already added so much of that up here. I might add some more. Look at that. That is a nice color, though. Look at that. It's because it's the purple with the green I like. Thanks. All credit goes to Monet. I got a buddy of mine who's in Paris right now. And I told him he's got to go to L'Orange, which is this art gallery, and I'm pretty sure, I mean, I was there 1987, and I'm pretty sure it's near the Louvre, just south of the Louvre or the bottom of the Louvre. And it's, I think you go, it's like underground, and it's got some of Monet's water lilies, like these huge ones, which are curved. And that's definitely worth, for me, it was like, damn, I wish I did that. So I'm stealing some of Monet's stuff down here. If you look down here, I'm specifically thinking about that from 1987. God, I got this crazy memory for only visual stuff. I really wish I had this memory for things outside of just visual. Like, I have memories of things from when I was very young that I can remember the layout of buildings and rooms, but it's only visual, right? Okay. Is that kind of nice? Isn't that nice? That like dark green blending with this purple. It's beautiful. Okay, so what I'm doing here, I don't know if it's obvious, but I'm trying to make like shadows. Like, you know, these things should be casting, light should be casting shadows of some kind. So I'm making it a little bit mysterious and, you know, unnatural, and that's kind of how I like to do it. The idea. And then I'm going to come in with a bit of a light color. What if I came in with, I don't know if you can see this. Mix this in here. What the fuck? Is that too bright? Let's try it. Oh, no, it's not. It's not too bright. I'm not sure if it's the color I want, but let's go ahead and play with this for a bit. Like that, yeah. Let's just do this. Take the greens and mix them here, and I'm basically softening up this bottom part here a bit. Well, that's interesting. Got a bit of orange in there. Okay. So I'm going to try to bring the light a bit more intensely. I don't want pure white, so I'm going to mix some colors. No, those are nice colors, aren't they? Well, that's very pretty, isn't it? Oops. What do you think? What do you think? Just gonna try moving the camera a little closer. So you can see what I'm doing. Go down here. Okay. Okay, so the last thing I'm gonna play with is the trees themselves. I'm gonna go in, need a new brush. I'm gonna go with some white. And something I recently realized was I was making, they were just too weird. The markings on these trees. I noticed that they should be. I was just being very impatient and lazy when I was doing them. So, like over here, that is just crap. So I'm just going to go in. I had a peek at some birch tree markings yesterday or the day before, and I got a better idea of how I can make them feel more like birch bark marks. So first step is go in and add a bit more space between them and try to get rid of some of those just ugly marks and add some nicer marks. I'm not sure if I like that orange blob right there. Goodbye. Goodbye, orange blob. Ooh, what was that? Fuck. Now I gotta get a new brush. Okay, I need a new brush. One second. Okay. Gotta cover that up. And maybe that little bit of warmth on that tree might look nice, actually. See, I like, the stakes are sometimes good. It adds a little bit of warmth to it that I would never have thought done before. So I'm just gonna leave it in there. What I mean by warmth is, yeah, fuck it, you know what I'm talking about. Okay. Someone said something about a blue. I read somewhere something about more blue, and I kind of agree. So I'm going to try to add more blue to the sky. And I think the important part is to bring it together. I don't like that. I don't like that color. You're pissing me off. Maybe I need a break. Has it been about an hour? That's usually when I need to take a break. How long have I been going for? 1 hour and 42 seconds. Okay, here's another very freaky thing about me. I can predict time like down to the seconds. Like when I'm microwaving something and it's 11 minutes, I'll come within a second of a minute. It's been 1 hour and 42 seconds, and I just feel like I felt like it was an hour. Isn't that weird? Oh, because that's my other second useless ability is I got a really good internal clock. There you go. I would like a special ability that can make lots of money. That's what I'd like. Okay. I don't know if it's finished. I might just take a break. Let's have a look at this bad boy here. I'll go in close so you can take a peek. Okay, so here's the sky parts I just worked on. Down here is a bit more foliage action. And here's that bit of pink you can see in the tree. So when I come back, it's just a subtle difference, but I think that makes like good art, I guess, is at least the stuff that I'm doing is slight variations. And then I came in with this nice purple over here. Sorry, I'm holding the whole tripod, right? And I tried to make it look like there's light coming through a little bit. So here's what I'm going to do. I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to let this one sit and percolate. And I'll come back. I may come back to it later. Because I'm not 100% sure if I've done enough kind of like foliage patterns, and there might be some. Oh, I'm just gonna do it right now with my fingers. I kind of feel like it needs like more brightness, contrast in some spots. I don't know if this is good or bad. I'm just finger painting here. Okay. Just leave it. Okay. Well, there you go. Hey Cheryl. Good morning. Although it's 12:35 here. Okay. Anyhow, thanks for watching. See ya.